Today, I'm power cleaning the interior of my 2005 Toyota 4Runner to go from this to this, from this to this, and from this to this. Now, I'm the type of guy, I don't like chemicals. I don't like to go and have to purchase a bunch of different bottles of cleaners, each costing between $10 and $20. I like to do it on the cheap because I think that not only is that cheaper, but it works just as well, in my opinion. I like using warm water. I like using something like Simple Green. That's what I'm gonna do today. And my secret weapon is gonna be that hot steam cleaner. I replenished my Simple Green solution here, and I also filled this bucket with nice hot water. So the rag I'm using is a microfiber towel. You've all seen these and probably own them. There is a smooth side here and a more textured side here. And the first thing I want to take care of is this dash. You can see just how much pet hair and dirt and dust is on this dash. It's almost unbelievable. Okay, real quick about the dashes in these 4th gen 4Runners. They are notorious for cracking, as you can see. This is cracked everywhere, and I plan on addressing that very soon. But one other thing that they're notorious for is getting sticky. This material kind of getting that rubbery, sticky feeling, and I'm kind of assuming that that's why there's so much dust and dog hair that's stuck to this dash. So let's see what happens with just a microfiber on the textured side that is damp, and I take one swipe across it. Ooh, it's crusty. Well, we can see one good swipe with that damp microfiber didn't do much. And I can feel just how sticky this is. This is very sticky. Oh yeah, this is nice and sticky. Wow. All right. We're getting somewhere. That was just about 10 seconds of wiping with that damp microfiber. It's definitely coming off. Okay, let's keep going. I just re-rinsed the microfiber. I'm gonna just keep working at this and just get this layer of dust and dog hair and whatever else is on here off with just warm water. Wow. Holy smokes. It's almost like glued on here. Holy moly. Just takes a little elbow grease, that's all. I can't wait to get this front clean, not only just so it'll feel so much better driving this thing, but because I'm gonna be getting a dash cover, one of the ones that is like molded ABS plastic that makes this whole dash look like new again. I know there was a big recall for these at one point. This one unfortunately missed that recall. I wish Toyota would recall them again. Right now, this is what I got to deal with, so I'm just going to do the best I can to get this thing clean. Taking a quick peek at the dash so far, it looks okay. This is after about 5 minutes of rubbing with just warm water and my microfiber. Let's see if you can see my hand actually getting stuck. So definitely a very weird, sticky material, and that's why you can still see some dog hair there, even though I have thoroughly wiped this down. So this is about what we started with, and this is where we're at. And this is after about 20 minutes of cleaning, and you can see it's still not that great. The material is still sticky, and you can see there's still some marks here and there, and some dog hairs here and there as well. Now I'm gonna get to work cleaning the driver's side, and that way we can move on to something else. All right, first phase of the dash is now completed. It's still a little bit wet, not perfect by any means, but all the dog hair, the dirt is gone. For now, I'm gonna work my way down. I'm gonna get all the dust here in the gauge cluster, on top of the steering wheel, and even in this air conditioning vent. But I did wanna show the condition of my bucket of water. You can see this water is very, very dirty. Let's go ahead and dump this out. Look at all that dirt down there. That is a good sign. Okay, moving on to the gauge cluster area. As you know, these things are covered in plastic. There's a lot of dirt on this plastic, and the last thing you want to do is scratch up all that plastic. So of course, you need to use a very soft microfiber towel that does have some dampness to it. And I'm also not going to be trying to get it all in one pass. I want to do multiple very, very light passes. So for example, on this middle gauge, I'm using the fluffier side of the microfiber. It is damp. I'm just going to get in there and just softly wipe it out. That was only one pass, and you can see there's still a lot of dust in there. That's okay. We'll do multiple passes. Here's pass number 2. Okay, a little bit cleaner with pass number 2. I flipped over the microfiber so that it's nice and fresh, clean material with no dust and rocks or what have you in it. Now I'm just lightly kind of twisting it in there. Let's see what that did. All right, pass number 3, you can see that is really, really clean. Now there's the first phase with the gauge cluster, and you can see just how clean they are now. And throughout this cleaning, when I say first phase, what I mean is the first phase goal is to simply safely remove this giant layer of dirt and debris that is all over everything. So now that the gauge cluster plastics are clean, I'm gonna go ahead and move my attention up here and get in all these little nooks and crannies simply with my warm water and microfiber. In this case, you can see right above that cluster, it's a very tight space. So how do we get in there? Well, of course, the same furry, fuzzy, soft, malleable microfiber towel. I'll tilt the steering wheel down so it's out of the way. I'm gonna fold the fuzzy side of the microfiber towel and simply slide it in there and kind of press it all in where it needs to be. And then I'll just kind of pull it back and forth and see what we end up with. Wow, there we go. And looking at that area that used to be absolutely covered in all kinds of dust, it is now mostly clean. That's just a quick first pass. I'm gonna do it again. And there we go. It is very clean in there. For the first phase, I think that area is done. Now looking below the gauges at that steering wheel area, you can see just how dirty that is. And of course, I'll use my damp microfiber and give it a couple swipes. Yet again, I'm on the fuzzy side of the microfiber, and I'll swipe across it softly. Look at that. That is what's so great about the microfiber. All these little threads really are able to grab onto that dirt and hold it. Just look how clean that is after one pass. Okay, first phase of the steering column here is done. We have all the dirt removed. Yes, there is still some dust flying around here and there, but all the dirt, that big layer of dirt, is gone. Let's move on to this air conditioning vent. This looks pretty dirty. There's lots of dust, lots of dirt, and some dog hair. So again, I believe in the microfiber towel. I think that I'm gonna be able to get this thing in there and just wipe it around and get rid of most of this dirt and debris. I think one of the goals here is to not rush it. Just take your time, get that towel in there, and just let it do the work. Really don't have to be forcing anything or pressing too hard. Just get in there and let that microfiber do the work for you. Wow. One pass, look at that. Look how clean that is after one single pass with the microfiber. Well, I got in there and cleaned everything else up. So the first phase of this air conditioning vent is done. You can see it looks a million times better, and that is just with a damp microfiber. I know I keep saying that, but this little towel can do a lot. Now I'm gonna focus on this ignition keyhole. You can see this thing is very, very dirty, and rightfully so. At 236,000 miles, this area has seen a lot of action. I just rinsed off my microfiber. Let's go ahead and use this and see what we can do. Just lightly pressing, and wow, I can already see it is doing a lot. Just warm water and a microfiber. How simple is that, guys? Okay, what was that, like 15 seconds? Look at the difference there. It is just incredible. I'm gonna go ahead and pop this piece of trim off of here. I have this little nylon tool. Easily slide it underneath there and just pull that out. You can see what that looks like on the back side. It is keyed, so it only goes in one way. And with that ring off, you can see that I can now clean some of this gunk that was underneath there. Well, I got this area all clean, but if we look directly underneath, we can see a dirt line here and kind of here that I'm having a little trouble getting off with light pressure from the microfiber. I'll simply spray a little Simple Green on my rag here, and what I really want to do is let this soak onto the area to hopefully loosen up some of that dirt. So I think I'll leave that for a second. And now I'll continue with the light pressure and cleaning the area. And well, that area is as clean as it's ever going to get. You can see it does have a little bit of that keychain rash from the keys just kind of bouncing around as you drive. That's fine. As long as I cleaned up all the dirt, I'm okay with that. So now I'll go ahead and put this ring back in there and it simply pushes right in place. Okay, sometimes we have little tiny areas with dust in there that is so obvious. This dust is right here in the center of the steering wheel, and so it looks particularly bad because I'm always staring at that. So can we get that clean with a simple microfiber? Let's find out. Not a lot of pressure. I don't anticipate it getting all of it, but I think it might be able to get some. And with this first pass here, I'm not using a lot of pressure. I'm not even really trying to get in those grooves. I'm just trying to let the microfiber kind of do the work for me. I'm wiping around the areas and just gonna see what kind of job this is going to get done for me. Well, okay, not perfect, but let's see if we can get it even better. Now what I'm gonna do is specifically try to force those little hairs down in those grooves and just wipe. And already with that technique, you can see almost all of that dust is completely gone. Microfiber does it again. One thing I'd like to touch on here are these magic erasers. This one you can see is a very old one I just found under my sink, completely dirty, old, used. But I have found that for a steering wheel that gets that super shiny leather look, that old looking steering wheel that's just shined beyond belief from the oils off of our hands, well, check this out. Look at the difference between the old steering wheel and just after about 60 seconds with that magic eraser. You can see this leather has returned to almost like new condition. I don't rub really hard. I just let the magic eraser do its job. So of course this thing has to be wet, and I can simply just very lightly rub it on the steering wheel. Something like that. You can even move it side to side like this. I found that it literally soaks up the oil and dirt out of that steering wheel, out of the leather, and makes it look almost like new. Here's what that eraser looks like after about 20 seconds of rubbing on the steering wheel. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse this off. You can see a big cloud of dirt and muck just come out of that thing as I squeeze it in this bucket of water. Get the water out of it. This is what we're starting with again. So let's give it another go. I can already see that it's working wonders on this steering wheel. I like this technique as well because it does get in all the grooves, and it does make you go a little slower, which also allows you to get more of that steering wheel and spend more time in each area. Now look at the difference in the leather here, guys. You can see this is literally shiny. It looks like plastic. There's so much oil in this. This thing is totally almost restored like new. Okay, now here's the whole steering wheel being done. I think you'll agree it looks a zillion times better than it looked before. It literally looks like it did probably almost like the day it came off the showroom floor. Using that eraser though does have some drawbacks. It can expose some abrasions that are already in your steering wheel. You know, things like this that were already there definitely do become more apparent because we are getting rid of that high polished look from our skin oils. And some of these abrasions like this one here, which you never noticed before, tend to be more noticeable. So just keep that in mind if you decide to try one of these magic erasers. Definitely test maybe on the back in an inconspicuous spot. Definitely want to do a test before you go all out and start trying to clean your steering wheel. But for me, I've had excellent results in every single one of my vehicles, and this one is no exception. I think you'll agree. Now, I still haven't touched the very center of my dash, this console area with the stereo, the climate controls, or anything like that. And you can see this is very, very dusty. So inside this CD player, you can see it's extremely dusty. I don't want any of that dust to get in there. I don't know how long I'm going to be keeping this factory CD tape player, but regardless, I just don't want to push a bunch of dust in there. So what I'm going to try is just to, again, lightly put my microfiber in, not too deep, and I'll just do one pass and try to pull some of that dirt out, and we'll see what happens. All right, that's exactly what I wanted. Now I can get in there again and just try to get this corner over here. Perfect. And then just again, this other corner. Perfect. Okay, the other thing is I can see that there's dust behind this first plastic screen on the actual LCD screen. So I'm not gonna be able to clean that, but of course I don't wanna scratch, I don't wanna press too hard, just one light pass. Now the tape player, same thing. There's a bunch of dust in here. I'm not gonna press too hard. I'm not gonna put the microfiber too deep. I'm just gonna lightly go over everything with a very light touch. Places I can see it, like on the top of the buttons here, in those little grooves, there's dust.
I think you got it, Jim.
Can't be too sure. Well, my wife came out and she said she wanted to help me clean, so I told her she can help right here with this stuff. How about that, babe?
I'm glad you saved the crustiest part for me.
Yeah, you seem to like getting in the dirtiest crevices.
I'm gonna start right here.
Okay, remember, light passes.
Light passes, so you don't scratch it.
Now flip it over. Wow, look at all that. Okay, get a clean spot of that microfiber. Get in there again. There. We're not trying to perfectly clean it right now. We're just trying to get rid of some of that big debris so we don't scratch any of these surfaces.
Okay, here's the part I'm really excited about.
Okay, now.
All this like dog hair and dander.
Yep, okay. So I would say flip that microfiber over to the plush side. And are you going to kind of bunch it up, or are you just going to put it on your fingers there?
Listen, Jimmy, sometimes you just got to go for it and not think too hard.
Okay, don't wipe too hard. Wow. Okay, keep going.
Ooh, that's so satisfying.
Oh my gosh.
That is so satisfying. Ooh, wait, I want to do more. Ooh, look at that hairball.
Wow.
This is so fun. Thanks for saving the best part for me, Jim.
Yeah, no problem.
I know you're probably going to go around and recheck my work.
You know it. All right, let me rinse that off. All right, microfiber's cleaned out. Ferris is going to work. We'll see what kind of work she can do. We'll see what it looks like when it's done. And after Ferris has helped cleaning this center console, you can see how clean this is. Especially down here, there is no more dog hair, no more dust and grime anywhere. Even in here, this is all really, really clean. I still have not touched the door panels, so that's what we're gonna do next. And this is also the point where I'm gonna open the steam cleaner. All right, let's look inside the box. Well, there's the steam cleaner itself. Well, this is interesting. I just took it out of the bag and you can see there's this weird white powdery substance all over the place. I do have distilled water, and it came with this cup, which I'm gonna fill to this top line here. Pour it in the machine. Then I'll put the cap on. But while we're waiting for that to heat up, I'm gonna go ahead and just wipe this stuff down. One good wipe, let's see what that does. And that actually did quite a lot. You can see all that dirt just from one solid wipe with the microfiber. Well, very quickly, that green light just came on. Nothing is coming out. I think that's just telling me it's got the pressure ready to be used. Wow, okay. Wow. Whoa. Well, I just used a steamer on this button area and it worked really, really good. You can see some of the dirt there. This area right back here, I just shot the steamer right in there and it literally sprayed and melted the dirt all the way over here. One thing I'm trying to figure out is what this is. I don't know if this used to be like perfectly covered with this plastic, or if this was just a plastic cover from the factory that no one ever peeled off, which I highly doubt. And I'm gonna try to peel it off right now. How strange. Well, as crazy as that looked, I'm not kidding you. I think this was like a plastic cover when this thing was sold new that no one ever took off. So it kind of glued itself, but I just quickly peeled it off and rubbed it down with the rag. I still have some more cleaning to do there, but that looks beautiful now. And just like I've been doing, I'm gonna use the microfiber to try to get deep in this crevice here and get all this debris out of there. I'm gonna stick that down in the corner, and then I'll just pull it out. Looks good, still got a little spot there and some there. Okay, I've just kind of wet all these gray areas down with the simple green. Put it right on there. Made sure not to get it into the speaker cavity there, but just sprayed everything down. I'm gonna let it sit for just a few more seconds. Oh, there's a light under here. I didn't even know that. So looking at this speaker grill, I really think the only way to get this thing actually clean is to be able to get inside each one of these little holes. Now that would take all day unless you use something like this. I've just sprayed this down with some simple green solution, and I'll just go ahead and use the bristles to lightly go ahead and work into those holes, see if we can get some of that dirt out of there. Wow, and that worked so good. There still may be a little mark here. The difference is night and day. I cannot believe that. Well, so far in this first phase, this driver's side door panel looks so good. I literally cannot believe from what it looked like before to what it looks like now. It's night and day. Now this right here, this isn't dirt. This is actually paint worn away off of this plastic pull handle. I do plan on wrapping this with some vinyl wrap in the very near future. At this point, we have basically the entire dash, the center console, as well as the driver's side door completely done and taken care of. And now I'm gonna work on that passenger door. And here's what this passenger door looks like before I clean it. You can see we have plenty of dust up on the top here. We also have lots of hair and dust and oils on this armrest. This button area could certainly use some cleaning. We have marks on the panel here above the speaker grill. I'm pretty sure this is makeup. And just like the other side, plenty of cleaning to do on that grill, as well as removing this plastic off the JBL logo. And now the passenger door is totally clean. Looking at those areas we looked at before, you can see there is no more dirt on this top sill. Looking here at the armrest, you can see it is totally clean. No more dirt down in that crevice. And looking at the rest of the plastics, you can see they are as clean as can be. I was able to mostly get all that plastic off this JBL logo. Still a little work to do over here, but for the most part, it looks good. And looking at the speaker grill, while not totally perfect, it is a lot better than it was before. On the whole, both front doors are night and day different. And one last sore spot in this car that I really would like to see if I could take care of right now is this stain in the ceiling. It looks like something exploded. There's evidence of that there, so it probably was something here that blew up and got on the headliner up here. So let's use the steamer to see if I can steam out these stains. Well, if you can't tell, I've already got some of the stains out, so let me show you how this thing's working out. We'll focus on this stain right here, and I'm gonna show you how powerful steam is. Look at that. It just melts it away. And then I simply take my rag and soak up the stain, and it is almost completely gone. It's definitely not perfect, but I could probably go over that again. And let's do another one. How about this one right here? Look at that just melt away and soak it up, hopefully all of it. And that is much, much better. You can see this is a huge improvement. Absolutely massive. Now the headliner's not perfect. It is definitely used. It's got some scratches. But when it comes to that big old stain that was up there, it is mostly gone. I still have some work to do right here and over here, but you can see that the steamer on its own is doing wonders. Well, all right, I switched to the wide angle view so you can just get a really good overall sense of how clean this headliner is now. This steamer has done a fantastic job. And now looking at it with the more normal view, we can see a little closer up, and you can tell that that steamer really does a fantastic job getting all those stains out. Well, phase one of the interior cleaning is now complete. You can see this passenger side front door panel is really, really clean compared to what it was. You can also hopefully tell how clean that interior is, the dash, the center console. And although it's not perfect, it's definitely much, much better than what it was. Looking at that dash, although it is cracked and definitely needs some sort of covering, it is at least clean. And looking at this center console, the stereo, the climate controls, every knob, every surface, everything is as clean as it can be. Remember how much dirt and hair was stuck in every single crack and crevice over here? It is now nearly spotless. The steering wheel was shiny, like almost polished to a shine from hand oils and all kinds of dirt, and now it looks like it's practically new. The gauge cluster is another area that was completely caked in dirt and dust, and it's now clean. The steering column was also covered in dirt and dust, which is also now clean. Let's look at this driver's door panel. It is nearly spotless. Looking up here on the sill, where it used to be completely covered in dust and hair, it's now clean. Same thing with this control panel here. Everything is as clean as can be. These armrests had all kinds of hair jammed down in there, and that's all gone. I even cleaned the 2 rear door panels. Here's the passenger side. This headliner was massively stained, and now you couldn't tell. Well, it's nowhere near perfect. I still have a lot of work to do just in cleaning, let alone customizing this thing. But I do want to say all of those panels that you saw that were scratched up, whether it be on the center console or the grab handle on the front door panels, I'm going to be wrapping those in some very cool looking wrap. So stay tuned if you want to see that. But for now, with this first phase of cleaning, basically just getting a good base, taking all of that hair and dirt out of here so I can feel like I could breathe in there, hopefully getting rid of some of the smells, I think mission accomplished. Well, there is still a long road ahead for this 4Runner, but I can't wait to really get started. Until then, I'm Jimmy for One Road, and I will see you in the next one.